Have you been playing Pokemon? I mean, Arc? I mean, Palworld. Yeah, that's the game. I've been playing lots of Palworld. It's a good time. I've been having a pretty good time with this game. You know, it's a totally original game. Completely, you know, original ideas. Nothing at all reminds me of any other game ever. You know, it's completely original. It's original. I'm telling you, it's original. Speaking of Palworld, I've been having a great time. You know, there's zero glitches. It's a perfectly running, you know, no bugs at all. Yeah, I haven't ran into a single glitch or bug. Yeah, I've been running into a lot of glitches and bugs in the game. But it's early access. It's been, you know, it's $30 early access game from an indie team. It's not like it was made from a, you know, a AAA studio that sells the game for $70 and also, you know, been making games since the 90s. Yeah. Who would actually do that, right? Like, what game did that? Well, you might be asking, well, is this just a more violent Pokemon game? Is this exactly like Pokemon? And no, it is definitely not like Pokemon, and just maybe with capturing, and even then that's a little bit of a stretch. This game is very much its own thing. If anything, this game is like Ark, but with Pokemon, or pals, with pals. I gotta stop calling them Pokemon. This game is very much like Ark, but with cute animals instead of dinos. And it's very much less convoluted than Ark. Overall, is the game good? Is it any good? And I'm gonna say there's issues with this game. It's okay. It's a pretty okay game, but there's issues with this game. One of them being is this game has the dumbest AI I have ever seen ever. I mean, like, Cyberpunk when it first released, Cyberpunk's AI would be on a whole other level of intelligence compared to Palworld's AI. It is that bad. The path tracing, like, if you're on a dedicated server, you can leave comments down below, but if you're on a dedicated server and you're playing and, you know, you're like, okay, I got my food, they're gonna be set overnight, you know, this is good. I want this to be, you know, working on mining, and this one working on, you know, lumber. And when I get back on, you know, I should have all this lumber. I should have all this stone, and my pals. I was about to call them Pokemon. My pals should be okay when I log on. You would think that. No. Like, there's like a 50-50 chance that when you get on, your pals are starving to death, have an ulcer, depression, and a whole other bunch of issues that they have because they got stuck on a box because their path tracing can't comprehend where the freaking food is. Are you kidding me? You know how annoying that is? I gotta go make medicine now. I gotta go help these. Oh my god. There's a lot of issues, especially like when you're just spawning into the world. Sometimes you just fall through the floor, or perhaps when you're using a special ability from a pal, because if you didn't know, a lot of these pals have a special ability. I play on mouse and keyboard, so when I hold F, I can either use it as a mount or use it as a machine gun or a flamethrower, right? And it's really cool. You know, it's a really fun concept. But sometimes something weird happens when you do this. Like, one time I just started to fly up into the sky. Yeah, all the way up. And it just wouldn't stop. And then you would log off and then log back on, and then your whole game is broke. It was a goddamn mess. In fairness, the game is in early access, which makes sense. You know, the game, a lot of things are going to happen when it's in early access, especially when there's a big message screen when you're going to go play in Palworld. It tells you multiplayer can be very buggy. You know, it report your bugs, blah, blah, blah. But it's still, sometimes, like, the game can be borderline unplayable. But if you look past all the bugs, everything, all that, is it fun? Is it a fun experience? Yeah, I'm having a great time. When my game is working and I'm not having all these bugs or glitches, I'm having a really good time. In fact, it's extremely addictive. It's kind of like when I first played Ark, you know? When I first played Ark for the first time back, I don't know, I think it was in 2014 or 2015, I can't remember. But when I first played Ark, I couldn't stop playing Ark. it was addictive. It has that you know, that gameplay loop that survival gameplay loop that hooks a lot of players. And in Palworld, it hooks you, and it's kind of easier to understand Palworld when it comes to their gameplay loop, or even just how to survive their world. It's, you know, oh, you start off with wood, stone, then you get this other cool stone that you're able to make Pokeballs or Pal Spheres. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep calling it Pokeballs or stuff like this. I can't help it. But yeah, there's just a lot of it's an easier to understand arc, and that gameplay loop is very addicting, especially when you want to go explore the world. It's a fun time. It's even more fun when you get the cooler, almost said Pokemon again, pals. When you get the cooler pals to really traverse the world. Is it a perfect game? By no means, it is a perfect game. In fact, it's a very flawed and buggy game. But it's a good time, and if you're enjoying the game, enjoy the game. The other fun thing about the game is its absolute absurdity. This game is absurd. It's kind of funny. It's just an extremely absurd game. It's borderline parody with this game, you know? Just the way the mons are treated, or just the way everything is treated in the game, you know? Like, hey, you got this cute little, like, Leafeon-looking pal. Yeah. Let's use a machine gun with it. Or you got this little penguin, so let's make it a rocket launcher. You know, it's just... It's funny. I can't help it. It's funny. And also, it's like, it's extremely different in Pokemon. And would I ever want Pokemon to be like Palworld? I've been hearing this everywhere. This is what Pokemon needs to be. This is what Scarlet and Violet should have been. No. God, no. Please don't do that. I think I can say that most Pokemon fans, what they want in a Pokemon game is they want a very detailed open world game that doesn't look like it was made on the PS2, with also like not being so empty. You know, like that's what I at least want in a Pokemon game. I want a very vibrant open world Pokemon game with really interesting side quests and like a really nice main quest, you know? That's what I want. The Scarlet and Violet, it felt empty to me. It wasn't as good, like, you know? Especially, they took out some of the systems that I really, really enjoyed in like Arceus. I had some of the systems in Arceus when it came to capturing mons or fighting mons. It was just a breath of fresh air. Even though it wasn't something completely new in the RPG, you know, sphere, it was something new for Pokemon. They never did something like this before, and I really liked it, you know? Having a mon being able to knock you out the player was interesting. Also, being able to use different styles of agility or strong style in a Pokemon fight was awesome. And also being able to just like hide in grass and literally throw your Pokeball at the mon that you're trying to catch. It was refreshing. It wasn't as open that I would like Arceus. Like, if Arceus was more of an open world, I might have even loved it. It probably would have been my favorite Pokemon game ever made. But it wasn't. And if you wonder, my favorite Pokemon game ever made was Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I will die on that hill. It is my favorite one. Yes, I might be old when it comes to that, but it's just, I love Gen 2. Now, do I want Palworld to be like, well, do I want Pokemon to be like Palworld? No, I don't want to go into a Pokemon game and having to craft and do a whole bunch of other slew of nonsense. I like Palworld being the way it is. Palworld being Palworld, and I want Pokemon to do something new in its own thing. Now, Nintendo is looking into Palworld to see if any of their IPs have been stolen or anything like that. So, Pokemon Company has released a statement about Palworld, interestingly enough, saying they have received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in January 2024. We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in the game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to the Pokemon. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon and its world, and will work to bring the world together through Pokemon in the future. Now, This statement means they're looking into it. I feel like it's more targeted towards, like, there's been some crazy mods. I'm not showing it because I don't need Nintendo taking me down. I'm just starting out here on YouTube, Nintendo, please. But they've been taking down mods related to Palworld that pretty much replace the pals and make them into Pokemon and basically make it look like more of a Pokemon game. And if you don't know Nintendo's history or even Game Freak's history when it comes to their IP, they are extremely defensive. I made videos about Nintendo being extremely defensive with their IPs. Game Freak especially too. And Palworld had to be on their radar since the first trailer. It's been on a lot of, like, I know a lot of people that it's been on their radar for at least 3 years, like since the first trailer dropped. And to say they wouldn't have shut down Palworld off the rip when it came out, or like to look at, you know, the mons and see everything about it, I feel like they would have gotten them by now. But I do want to state, I don't know Japanese law. Hell, I don't even know my own country's law that well when it comes to copyright and all this. So who knows? I have no idea what's going to happen regarding this. I don't think anything is going to happen, but who knows? Now, when I seen the trailer for this game, I was like, this looks absurd. This looks insane. You know, Pokemon with rocket launchers and other weaponry and just killing everything. Yeah, this game looks insane. I'm going to try it out. Went into the game expecting it to be terrible. Like, absolutely expecting it to be one of the worst games I've ever played, and winded up being an average or decent game. And I think that was the experience for a lot of people. Like, they wind up really enjoying the game, expecting a bad game, went in, and they're like, oh, this is kind of fun, you know? And I also feel like fans of, like, Pokemon or just that genre of game are starved. We're so starved for a good Pokemon game or a good capturing game, you know? And something like this comes around and we all latch onto it. That's maybe just my opinion with that, but I feel like we all latched onto it like, oh, it's something decent, you know? Like, have you played Scarlet and Violet? That game was horrendous. My God. I mean, it might be better now. I haven't touched it in, I don't know, like a year now. But it might be better now. I have no idea. But when I played Scarlet and Violet, it was sure a dumpster fire. Well, let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments. Literally, I am actually really want to know what you guys think. I want to see what everybody's opinions are on this game, and we might even make a follow-up if, you know, if everybody has some really good arguments to make. I'm not against a good argument. So let me know down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, or dislike even. And I'll see you in the next one.